Oh, I say, let's go that way. Just a touch that way. Thank you very much. Centre screen, Reverend. Good evening. Welcome to the Theatre of the Mind, Live 263. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. A couple of deep dives tonight. I'll tell you about those in a moment. There's a lot going on. In fact, there's so much going on that I looked at all the stuff and I thought my head hurts. There's so much going on. I mean, Trump's obviously at the cutting edge. So I'm we'll get into, hang on, 31 waiting, 28 watching. What the bloody, oh, thank you. So what is it I want to say tonight? Because I'm a bit yeah, before I get to the comments, because there's quite a bit. It's fairly lively in the comments this evening. Welcome to the Body of the Kirk, everybody in comments. What I want to say to you is there's going to be, and I'll kind of talk about this during the live tonight. I'm going to use December as a focus group. You are the focus group, because I want to work out a direction of travel for the channel. I know what I want to do, but I want to make sure that you're on board and I take you with me. I'm being crucified by YouTube. I'm losing subs left, right, and centre, and that's because I haven't sorted out certain things that they want me to sort out, like bringing them money. And I want to keep this space pristine, is want of a better word. I want to keep this space pristine because a lot of the things that, even though you might not believe me at the time, 6 months down the line, you go, holy Jesus, Reverend, you told us that 6 months ago. Yeah, just, keep up with the brief. But I want to keep this pristine so that those that want me to decode what's going on in life and the universe and everything can happily join me on the lives and in various places. I'm trying some of my old radio skills and interpreting social media, life, the universe, and everything. Don't talk to me about life. 42. And, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, man. Have you never listened to it? Don't read it. Listen to it. Oi, 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 oi. The BBC's Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy from the 70s is just fantastic. Anyway, I digress. So over December, I'm going to try various start times. And one of the main reasons, it's a personal reason, that I started at 7:30 and I do 90 minutes is I was finishing like 10, half 10 of the evening and just couldn't get to sleep at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. I was too adrenalized. And after all these years in radio, I should be able to handle adrenaline. But as an older boy, that didn't seem to be so. So I made it earlier. I mean, I may even do some daytime lives. It just, I want to get into a place where it's multifaceted, this channel. It's not just one thing. It encompasses all of my talents, all of my skills, all of my insight over 40 odd years in the media, whether it's a writer for, I've been an editor of magazines. I've had my own column in newspapers and written for many newspapers. I've done radio and telly. So I just want to bring all of that here and I want to have some fun. I don't want to, some of the deep dives have been quite dry, but I promise you, in 6 months or a year's time, I'll just go, I told you that in a bloody live 12 months ago. But I want you to also enjoy it. I want you to have... I love the chat, by the way, and everybody that's involved in the chat. I just love I want everyone to be irreverent. I'll be the Reverend, you be irreverent. Irreverent. I want you to have fun. And I mean, last night I cracked a couple of gags that I hadn't even made up. They were just off the cuff. Because you know me, you've been watching the channel for years. I love one off the cuff. So I've been thinking over the last 24 hours, I want to bring fun to this. I want to bring insight. I want to decode all the bullshittery that's in politics and in life. And even trying to decode some of the conspiracy theories that still to this day People are saying that's definitely a theory and it's right. But I want to decode it because I want to bring you context and understanding. That's the only thing I wanted to do with this channel, other than tell you my story about working for Fired when Diana was murdered. Oh, did I say that out loud? You can't see me lips move. I'm only joking. So, that's kind of like a scene set for you tonight, that over the next 4 weeks, because there's only, bloody hell, was yesterday the fourth Sunday before Christmas. So I may move this about a little bit. The start times may vary. Some of the stuff that I do may vary. And, well, I'm just going to try the whole of December to get data that informs me what you like when people want to watch. So I already know that after 8 o'clock, people have finished with family and stuff. And 50% of everybody that's watching this channel watches on their main TV at home. I know that from the data that YouTube gives me. So people are probably 8 till 10. But as I say, as an older guy who, I just laughed at doing late night radio physically because it was just dead easy. But now, being an older boy, it has its drawbacks. You can make your own mucky gags about that. I'm not making any mucky gags about drawbacks at all. It's just a word in English, man. Pervert. So, oh, Caramboo. I think I'll start with this one because it kind of fits in with what I'm saying. I just want to, 3 years we've been on air. 3 years, I want to evolve things. I want to move things along into different areas and just have fun and enjoy it. Caramboo says, hello, Rev, and all you Rollins. This is a huge, size queen, Caramboo. A huge thank you and very much appreciate the time and research that you do for us all. Keep it coming. Honestly, it's just filth, this channel. It's just filth. What do you mean? Or was that just my mind? Oh, well, you've sussed me. Caramboo, welcome to the body of the Kirk. Terry the Wookfit. Hang on a second. What's he... Terry, have you been sniffing the barmaid's apron? It's just gone noon, 1/2 monsoon, on the banks of the River Nile. Oh, it's madness! Well, oh, it's mad. Yeah. What was the song? Was it boat trip to Cairo? Was something last trip to Cairo or something to Cairo? You've got me there, Terry Wookfit. Only half afloat. Oarsman grins, a toothless smile. I'm sure that's madness. Yes. And the music. I want to do more music, but I know there's some people that come to the lives for the deep dives and for stuff and seeing through. I mean, I can barely keep up with all the emails and the new information that's coming out. Because it's like, what's his face? A Labour peer, Lord something or other. He said, yeah, the news cycle's 2 hours. So by the time I do my research before this, and then it gets to about 4 or 5 o'clock, poof, the news cycle changes. Poof, what are you saying, Adrian? So keep up. It's going to be a wild ride tonight. Where are we? Oh, bloody hell. Welcome, young Wookfit. Welcome to the body of the Kirk. David Graham, evening, y'all. Hang on a second. I knew there was something going on here. I haven't got me... I've got these papers on so I can see things, but I haven't got, the stuff close to me. Right, that's better. Evening all from David Graham. After a week or so, I'm back tonight. He's back. After a nice rest, apparently, temperatures going up this week. Not bad for the end of November. Bloody hell. Are we going to get snow at Christmas? David continues, by the way, at the moment, I'm watching BBC board members being questioned by MPs in Parliament after the Trump scandal. The BBC chairman didn't think the Director General had to resign. Oh, well, he was wrong then, wasn't he? Sir Andrew James says the Rev and Sister Mary will be late in the Kirk tonight. They have gone to see Wicked 2. Hey, Sir Andrew James, don't be saying that because I've got... well, I'm a friend of Dorothy's, me. I'd follow the yellow brick road. Those who know, no. So I do have The Wizard of Oz. because the Wizard of Oz film itself is layered with symbolism, and it's layered with messages, and it's layered. But I do you know, this is bizarre. Heaven forbid that I would go and see a musical. I mean, it's bad enough being a classically trained cellist and having some fat bird sing in front of an orchestra. It ruins an orchestra, man. Shut the God, man. And, well, I've been to a fair few musicals. Mrs. Doubtfire is a particular favourite. I do like things that entertain. But Wicked 2, because I know that the Wicked show is 2 halves, and Wicked 1 was the first half of the show, and Wicked 2 is the second half. But Ariana Grande, she doesn't know whether she's Arthur or Martha, man. She's demi-sec, curious, bifold, reversible garage lifting doors, or whatever they call themselves nowadays. Me, I'm just a bloke. And I appreciate the finer figure of a woman. And she's curious. Well, I can tell her. It's life. It's never easy. So just, you know, be who you are. We don't care. Nice voice-ish. Don't care. At least you're not Sandy Shaw. Or Dusty Springfield, for that matter. Dusty Springfield, what a set of pipes on her. Probably on the same bus as young Ariana Grande. But America's really, they're prudes, America. And the fact that she's having an interracial relationship, don't bother me. I just, you know, you can't decide who you fall in love with. You just do. Don't matter whether they're 10 foot tall, 2 feet tall, or you just fall in love. Love is love. And ultimately, we're all just walking each other home. Oh, I say, Reverend, is one getting deep? Hey, deep's always good, mate. So I'm told. So, Ariana Grande, yeah, whatever. Wicked 2, maybe one day. I will tell you if I do go and see it. I will tell you, but I'm not going all the way down in London for you know, just some birds warbling. So where were we? Oh, yes. I've got a confession. I have a confession. I don't really know how to say this. I mean, Sister Mary's feeling a lot better. The Austrian nuns are still around. They're loving this weather because they're Austrians. They're up a height, man. They're loving it. But how can I? I'm in the doghouse with Sister Mary and the bishop. I'm not bashing the bishop. I'm just saying I'm in the doghouse. Because Sister Mary's come to me today going, Rev, it's you. And I'm like, whoa, Sister Mary, what the bloody hell are you talking about, woman? This is cloth of God. I obviously daily touch cloth. So what is it you want? I know it was you. And I was like, Sister Mary, this is not a Catholic kirk, so couldn't have been me. She said, have you been driving the bishop's Skoda? And I said, the bishop's got a Skoda? She said, yes, you know. I said, before we go down this route, I'm not quite sure where this is going, Sister Mary, but has your pussy thawed out? Because it was frozen yesterday. Another film. It's frozen yesterday. Is it thawing any at your age? And she said, oh, Reverend, it's fine. I just don't like to get me pussy wet because, oh, dear Lord, the hassle that causes. I said, well, I'm with you, Sister Mary. I'm with you. And how's Big Dog Dick? She said, oh, he's big. Size queen. So I said, right. Cough. She said, what do you mean? Do I have to hold a couple of hairy sphericals? I said, no, just, you know. She said, well, I understand there's a reverend that, and it was in all the papers today, especially the Sun, or was it the Daily Mail? There's a reverend, he'd been on the altar wine and maybe a bit of Battenberg, and I could only think of you, Rev. I said, well, what's wrong with having a little libation, a little altar wine? She said, that Rev, a ranty Rev, crashed the Skoda that belongs to the bishop. I said, Sister Mary, as much as I would never bash the bishop, I didn't touch his car. Did he have loads of the bishop's finger in the back? She said, oh, yes, I've had that in the back of the Skoda. What, the bishop's finger? Oh, yes, she says. It's lovely, tasty. Lovely. I said, well, I can assure you that 2026, I've already been taking hibiscus. I've not been taking alcohol or the altar wine or the Battenberg, for that matter. She said, but I read it in the daily papers today, Reverend. It must have been you. I said, look, cleanliness is next to godliness, Sister Mary. You and your frozen pussy need to keep out of my way because I've not touched the bishop's finger and or his Skoda. So we're at daggers drawn. I'm in the doghouse because the bishop reckons it's me, Sister Mary reckons it's me, and I'm saying I've never had any alcohol in 2025. So we'll have to wait and see if there's any follow-ups or follow-through. I think it's more likely in the newspapers tomorrow. Just telling you, for a friend. It is a story. It is a thing. At least the Austrian nuns that have been partaking of everything godly in this particular parish are behaving themselves. Thankfully, I'm not quite sure where the choir boys are tonight though, and whether we're running out of Mars bars. Phil Levan says, surely a bishop drives a land crab. I don't know what he's pushing. Lionel177 says, I used to have a Skoda. I had no problems with it. You know why Skodas have heated rear windscreens, don't you? Yeah, so they can keep your hands warm when you're pushing them. Was there any Comic Mania line of the night? Were there any skid marks, Rev? Well, I can't attest, Comic Mania, if there were or they weren't. But there was brown things out the front of the body of the Kirk. And that's where Sister Mary must obviously have thought the Rev's driving his Skoda. Bloody hell. If he crashes that, we're done for. Oh, look at that. It's weaving. Oh, right. So we need to check the skid marks outside of the front of the body of the Kirk. Otherwise, we're all in trouble. Seen David Essex in a pantomime once. BD, cool. Random. I get it. Did he sing? Hold me close. Don't let me go. Oh, no. Skoda was a comedy joke in the 1980s. Remember it well. Me too, David. Follow through. Okay, if you've had a slice of Battenberg. Well, yes, at least it'll be fragrant in the starmers. That's the pews in the body of the Kirk. They're so hard on your derriere that, well, they're just known as the starmers. The piles cushions are there for you should you need it. And now that we're getting into the beginning of the live this evening, please smash the likes on your way in and on your way out, because I know a fair few more people will be coming into the body of the Kirk. We've got 111 watching now, so we're all got to stand on one leg. It's a cricketing term. I won't bore you. Wow, Terry Wookfit, BD, cool. Seen him? That's David Essex, or is it David Ethics? At Sunderland Empire in the late 70s, had to go with sister to watch him. BD Cool says he did sing, but I can't remember what pando it was. A pretty good one. David Essex has got, I mean, he was such a good-looking boy in the 70s. How can I say this without upsetting some... we're not woke in here. I can say it. He had his fair share. Because, look, if you can sing... You went and sang and enjoyed the fruits of your labour. If you couldn't sing, you joined a band, probably a drummer or a bassist. And if you couldn't play a musical instrument, you became a radio presenter. Phil Levan, Silver Dream Machine. Oi, oi, oi. Hang on, Soul Rebel. Don't mention the cricket. David will need a lie down. I know. Right, let's just leave that there because we've got a couple of deep dives tonight. I want to tell you what we're going to do. So as I said, over the next month or so, leading up to Christmas, we're going to be testing start times, content. We're going to look at the data for a better, brighter, more detailed 2026, man. So the candles are lit. Sister Mary's been, good of her. To light the candles in, and the body of the Kirk is now a little warmer. We've got a couple of heaters in, piles cushions on them very hard. The Kirk wants the Rev to interview David Essex. It's not a bad idea, actually. I bet he's got a few stories. Oi, oi, oi. I mean, he knew all of the kind of rock and rollers. Wasn't he in some of those films with Slade and Wizard and all the kind of glam rock boys from the early 70s? I'm sure there was. So, yes, I'm going to make you a star. David. So, welcome to the Body of the Kirk. Tonight we're going to do a Queen Elizabeth deep dive, Queen Elizabeth II deep dive. Why? Because it's coming out that she was a client of Jeffrey Epstein. Going to do that. Starmer, you know him, never hear Keir. Have you seen the picture of him in the G20 or G7 or G8 or whichever G he goes to every other week? Stand on his own. While Ursula von der Leyen is, I'm not going to do the gag again. You have to watch the live from last night. I've been laughing all day at that one gag. So he's standing there on his Todd. Nobody loves him. Billy no mates. But, as sure as eggs are eggs, Keir Starmer, Mr. Philippe Philop, wants Ginger Growler back in his cabinet. He said today, no, I think this is probably going to be the wrong way round. Yeah, it says, Keir, I want me pal, Angie, back. You couldn't make this up. You just couldn't. We know he flip-flops. We know he kind of does a 180. We know that he does U-turns. Well, actually, he can't. I've told him, wear a pair of wellies, you'll make its eyes water. It just, he wants his pal. Well. Ginger Growler, next Prime Minister of this country. It's got to be a woman. They're not going to appoint a man. It's got to be a woman. So, welcome. The Body of the Kirk, Theatre of the Mind, Live 263. Let's get into, I am going to talk to you about, are we at war with Russia? We're going to take that. We're going to talk about the Ukraine peace plan because Europe is manoeuvring. They've basically told Trump to Foxtrot Oscar. And Trump's like, here, lads, Ursula, cavernous fanny. No. Gonna hear an echo? I'm standing too close to Ursula. 7 kids. 7 kids, man. I mean, either she loves pregnancy or, well, not wedding cake, but why would a woman want to have 7 kids? It's not even a football team. So, hang on. Stephen Hall says, God help us, she's as rough as a badger's arse. Is that Ginger Growler or is this Ursula von der Leyen? Anyway, we're going to talk about that because Europe is kind of trying to dictate to the Donald. We're in charge, and the Donald's just laughing, going, oh, yeah, man, how do we shite? So we're not going to go deep into the 28-point plan, but we are going to talk about it. And so tonight, first off, in the Body of the Kirk, we're going to take a calm, forensic walk into quite a big story that is bubbling across the tabloids and certainly foreign outlets, because we're not allowed to see those, you know. So we're going to decode a claim that Queen Elizabeth II was a client of Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, it's not proven, it's not confirmed, but that narrative is being pushed. Why? And by whom? And does the timing point to something bigger? So Queen Elizabeth, a client of Jeffrey Epstein, the reported allegation, we're going to look at it and dissect it. We're going to look at what's being claimed. We're going to look at where it's coming from, because you're not being given any of this information and context and understanding. It's just, so yesterday I was, and I was chatting with somebody that ordinarily is in the Body of the Kirk, and I was trying to, it was online, and I was just trying to make me notes, and it disappeared. It literally, whilst my peepers were on the screen, it disappeared. And I thought, who's done that? 77th. And then I thought, all right then, we'll have a look at the reported allegation, what's being claimed, where it's come from, And what evidence exists? Well, none, publicly. So Queen Elizabeth II, a client of Jeffrey Epstein. Is it a story? So what do we know? Jeffrey Epstein had an extensively documented social network of high-profile, high-worth individuals. For example, we are told there is a client list, and there are client list style references in the media regarding Epstein's records, contact books, flight logs, and masseuse lists. Now, I can tell you that one of the contact books they thought was his was actually Ghislaine Maxwell's. It wasn't his at all. And the Ghislaine Maxwell trial transcripts show her stating she was unaware of an official Epstein client list. He's Mossad. He's CIA. Obviously, he's got a bloody client list. He knows who's who and where's where. He knows. That was his job. And then there's Prince Andrew. Obviously, if you're not up to speed, that's the second son, Porchy's boy, not Philip's boy, because, well, he's not Philip's boy. Second son of Queen Elizabeth II, the last monarch before Charles the Weak. And this story that kind of surrounds Prince Andrew has confirmed his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. No. He met him, was photographed with him, and had lawsuits connected to all of that. Let's just spunk £12 million on nothing, seemingly, somebody he hadn't met. And the US Department of Justice and the FBI issued a memo saying they found no credible evidence of a compiled client list that implicates third parties beyond Epstein for criminal prosecution. So there isn't a client list. There's nobody that could be implicated, no third parties, nobody's going to be done for criminal prosecution, except Ghislaine Maxwell, who got done for procuring women for nobody, seemingly, absolutely, bugger all. So on the specific allegation against the Queen Elizabeth II, our last monarch, a few less reliable articles claim that Queen Elizabeth II, and I'm quoting here, I'll tell you when I'm quoting, because there's reasons, legal reasons why I'm telling you when I'm quoting. There's a few less reliable articles claiming that Queen Elizabeth II, quote, could have been, unquote, a client of Epstein. For instance, one article states, and again I'm quoting directly, among the clients of the late American financier Jeffrey Epstein could have been the late Queen of the United Kingdom, Queen Elizabeth II. That's from a European source. And another media report says, and I quote, documents related to the case include allegations that the late Queen, that's Elizabeth II, was his client and used his services. So let's look at the core facts of this. Because personally, this is a massive story. And if it disappears completely and nobody touches it, you know that it's factual. If they don't want anything to come out and nothing comes out and it's sanitized and disappears, you know that somebody was on the money. So the core facts, these are the verified sources, clean facts, and they've been verified. So what is actually being reported today? Well, foreign and tabloid outlets report that emails involving Nobel physicist Murray Gell-Mann, hyphenated, allegedly claims Epstein provided financial services to Queen Elizabeth II. I mean, she's got riches beyond riches. She's got priceless artifacts that you can't buy because they're priceless. And these stories come from the Daily Express. That's where I first saw it. The stories are coming from the Daily Express via a Latvian news outlet, bb.lv. Russian Izvestia reporting claims. So it's starting to breed. It's starting to get out there. So remember, I told you, having worked in PR for quite a number of years. Les, stick a dot after the first letter. Les has just said YouTube won't let me post the reason for the Trump denial of the Epstein list. Go on, Les, man. Just you can find a way around it. Do code while I'm doing this. So it's this story is starting to gain traction because people are suddenly going, hang on a second, Queen Elizabeth II did what? But no original emails have been published, considering there's tens of thousands of emails that have been published. There's no UK or US authority that has confirmed the Queen had any personal connection to Epstein. But you and I know that there are pictures of kind of the Queen at a log cabin, and then Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell sitting in exactly the same spot. Now, the American Department of Justice and FBI, July this year, 2025, they had a memo that explicitly stated they found no Epstein client list suitable for prosecutions. No credible evidence of high-level uncharged co-conspirators. Prince Andrew's connection to Epstein is real, it's documented, photographed, and legally consequential. But Queen Elizabeth II has zero verified primary evidence tying her to Epstein's finances, movements, and/or crime. So let me walk you through a very brief timeline. We'll start in the 1990s through to, say, 2000. Let's look at the real connections. Prince Andrew meets Epstein through Ghislaine Maxwell. This is in the 1990s to 2000. Andrew invites Epstein to Windsor Castle in 2000 for a party. That is confirmed. And there's no evidence at this stage of any contact between Epstein and Queen Elizabeth II. Now, in 2019 to 2022, this is the Epstein fallout. Epstein dies in custody. Or did he? No, not did he, did he? Did he? Because some people say he didn't. So Andrew takes a step back, settles the Jeffrey case. How much do you want, Virginia? All of it. I've heard that before. And Andrew loses his rolls. Not Royce, not bread rolls, just rolls. And then in 2025, July of this year, the Department of Justice and the FBI memo says, after examining all Epstein materials, no client list exists, no prosecutable new high-profile names. And then, 23rd of November, over the weekend, a new wave of stories start coming out. The news agencies that I talked about, multiple news agencies claim emails, and I'm quoting again directly, emails say Epstein provided financial services to Queen Elizabeth II. These outlets, and there's multiple, BBLV, Inbox EU, Izvestia, a Russian news agency, they don't release the emails. They heavily qualify with phrases like could have been, or allegedly, or suggested, all in quotation marks. But this is 24th of November 2025. So today's reaction to all of this, the story starts circulating heavily online because, I told you, Charles the Weak, the monarchy is weakened. And I wish our king good health and a long life. But the quicker William becomes king, the better for this country. Andrew's disgrace makes the public suspicious. Of course it does. You and I, we know he's a shagger. And he has been. So the phrase client, it's all around this one word, triggers an Epstein conspiratorial association. Told you in December, Jeffrey Epstein was on the way back. He was going to appear again, and boy, oh boy, is he. So the allegation says this Mann that he has written that Epstein provided the Queen with financial services. Financial, but not criminal. But crucially, no one has produced the emails. No court has recognized them so far. No investigator cites them. No official source confirms them. They exist only as claims about documents, not documents themselves. But look at the timing. The timing is interesting because the US Justice Department has already said there is no Epstein client list. That July this year. So the American authorities have basically closed the door, and yet suddenly over the weekend the foreign media is now saying, but what about the Queen? I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of people in the chat going, yeah, which one? We've got a few in this country. We are a bit eccentric. So my first question was, and that's the reason why I tried to have a look at this article on the Daily Express, is it journalism or is it geopolitics? Is this some kind of Russian pressure tactic? Or is it simply sensationalism wrapped around the vacuum created by Prince Andrew's confirmed disgrace? So my role here tonight is not to say that she did or that she didn't. My role is to say, here's what we know, here's what is claimed, and here is the enormous gap between the two. So what we don't or can't verify, the media articles claiming the Queen was a client cite could have been, in quotation marks, possible, in quotation marks, or allegations, in quotation marks, without showing authenticated logs or invoices. Is it another Russian hoax? The media will scream. But the media haven't said anything. Nothing. Nix nada. Absolutely bugger all. Now, all these quotes, possible allegations, could have been, they're all speculative, or at least not independently corroborated. The presence of Epstein in association with the British royal family is strongest with Prince Andrew, obviously, Shagger, Mountbatten, Windsor. His direct connection is documented, but extrapolating that to Queen Elizabeth II herself lacks, in my view, substantiating evidence. So here's why I think this story is circulating and the risks of disinformation. And I'm not siding with either side. Look, the Epstein case remains deeply controversial with lots of public fascination. It's the fascination of the rich and the powerful. Secret lists. Ghislaine's not going to tell anybody. Don't be silly. She wants to get out of jail soon. Do not pass go. Do not collect £200. And it's this high-level connections, whether it's somebody called Bill or not, or somebody called Killary or not, or somebody that likes to have shooting parties on Epstein's Island where you can't get found out. You and I recognise that Epstein's networks were huge. I mean, the compromat that he must have, and the videos haven't surfaced either. Mucky bastards in the FBI having a look at powerful people shagging, possibly kids. But Epstein's networks were massive, and his victims, or associates, are numerous. There is a tendency for media outlets to publish, again, possible links, quotation marks. They're all saying possible links or allegations, even when evidence is thin. Claims involving a monarch bring even greater sensationalism. I mean, you've got royals plus scandal. Look at Randy Andy equals high click value. It got me because I saw it and my first reaction was, bloody hell, the Queen, bloody hell. So given the Department of Justice's memo that no client list has been found, many serious fact-checking bodies, BBC, verify anyone. Treat broad claims of many powerful people being implicated, compromat, as unverified or false. If there's nothing to back it up, if you've got no corroborative proof, you can hide away and shite. It's an American term. So my assessment is this. The claim that Queen Elizabeth II definitely was a client of Jeffrey Epstein is unsupported by credible public evidence. It remains, in my view, a hypothesis or allegation rather than a verified fact. And I will tell you this, if she was, you wouldn't get to know this. They'll have scraped the whole internet. That's why I've told you before, this Blue movie with somebody that looks like Meghan Markle in it, doing very adult things, it just keeps disappearing. And then when somebody's trying to make a point, I'm sure it appears again on the internet, and you just think, hang on a second, I thought they'd got rid of that. No, they're making a point. Oh, she's receiving the point anyway. So there is reason for concern and scrutiny around the wider Epstein network and its intersections with elites, for want of a better term, including the British monarchy. But specific attribution to the Queen lacks solid grounding. We're dog sitting. So I would suggest that the pattern we want to guard against is he said, she said, gossip, unverified claims that can harm reputations without recourse. We know that Andy is Andy and Randy and did many things that are questionable, but, oh wait, man, Queen Elizabeth II. So I know you value clarity, truth, balance. So let's treat this as investigative monitoring, not as fact for broadcast. So what should we look at next? And I'm coming to almost the end of this. What should we monitor next? Well, whether any official royal statement is issued addressing these specific claims. At the moment, they're all foreign. They're not in the British. I mean, I'm looking down there because that's where my newspapers are. The dailies have not got this story. But then that makes me very doubtful of any untruth or disinformation. It makes me think, hang on a second, why is this not in the newspapers? Not even as a byline saying, oh, the bloody foreigners, they're at it again, trying to say Queen Elizabeth II, and they won't. They won't. Because the minute you start reporting on the stuff that's already out there, and as I say, that's how the media works. Somebody pushes a story. Remember the Hugh Edwards story? For 4 or 5 days, nobody said or mentioned Hugh Edwards' name. There was lots of speculation, and then the press had the feeding frenzy around what was already out there in the public domain. So if they start saying this is out there in the public domain, albeit in Europe and Russia, then those claims could be investigated. There's no court filings, sealed documents, legitimate investigative leaks that refer explicitly to the Queen's name in Epstein's connected documents or flight logs. There's no independent journalistic investigation, UK or US, that trace the financial or payment relationships between Epstein and members of the royal family beyond Prince Andrew. But here's a question for you. Did the Queen borrow money off Epstein to pay Jeffrey off for Andrew? I'll leave that with you. So the broader release and unsealing of Epstein's records, flight logs, contact books, whether any reference to the Queen Elizabeth II, emerges in a verifiable way. It has to be verifiable. So where is this the Queen was an Epstein client, quote. So the current wave of headlines seem to trace back to, in this country, only one newspaper, the Daily Express Royal Story, which is then rewritten by Latvian English outlet BBLV Inbox EU across Europe under the headline, "Among Epstein's clients was Queen Elizabeth II," or on some faux Eastern Bloc accent. And the Russian outlet Izvestia, their English site, is also running a similar piece, citing documents and allegations, but they're not providing any. So it's speculation. So they're speculating she was a client, but without letting us see the underlying records. And seemingly their page is 403, error 403, blocked right now. Is it really? Must be the 77th. So if you don't see this story anywhere in the newspapers over the next few days, it must be true. So what the other Latvian, BB Latvia, their article is saying, among the clients of Jeffrey Epstein could have been Queen Elizabeth II. And it's saying it was reported in the Daily Express, which is said to be relying on the emails. So keep your eyes open, because if it's not true, you know where the Daily Express is going to end up, don't you? Bit like young Harold, ginger sphericals, loves a court case. So I've told you what the original source seemingly was. A Nobel-winning physicist. And he's absolutely, categorically assuring everyone that Epstein provided the Queen with financial services. Services, not advice. It's that word, services. Not advice, not, here, Liz, you need to get your money into crypto. Not that, no. Services. So that's why I've said to you, where did the 12 million come from that Andrew used to pay off Jeffrey? So the line being pushed today is, newly surfaced emails show Nobel physicist Murray Gell-Mann suggesting Epstein provided financial services to Queen Elizabeth II. Therefore, she might have been one of his clients. So let's have a look at what the evidence actually is or isn't. What is claimed to exist from the Latvian site, the Russian site, have all written a summary of the Daily Express piece. There are some emails, seemingly, and the allegations are in those emails, and that's effectively it. There's no description of specific sums, dates of transactions, account structures, which bank, or what kind of financial services, like tax, portfolio, management, charitable vehicles, offshore trusts. None of that. So the word client here appears to mean financial client, which is already pretty ambiguous. I mean, Epstein did run an investment advisory operation for ultra-rich clients. Where do you think he made his bloody money from, man? Separate from his sexual crimes. But being a client of Epstein in this sense is not automatically the same as being involved in abuse or trafficking. So what we don't see, no original emails or PDFs have been published in the open that we can inspect. No court filing or official US or UK investigative documents. Nothing. FBI, DOJ, UK police has been publicly stating that Queen Elizabeth II was a client of Jeffrey Epstein in a criminal sense. No flight logs, contact books, anything. So right now, this is press reporting about alleged emails. And, you know, the Trump administration are releasing email tranche after email tranche, not documents that you and I can read and verify. So the FBI said they found no evidence of a secret Epstein client list. There was no credible basis for additional criminal prosecutions beyond the cases that we already know. But that doesn't mean no powerful person ever used Epstein for anything. But what it does mean is that the official line from the US investigators is that there is no master list of compromising sex trafficking clients that they are sitting on. So you have what I would describe as a tension. Tabloid plus foreign media pushing Epstein client files show Queen Elizabeth II was a client versus the Department of Justice and FBI memo saying, we didn't find a client list suitable for further prosecutions. So both of those things highlight a contradiction and make the audience, you and I, think about who benefits from which narrative. For context, Prince Andrew, he's bollock deep. The Queen is not. The legitimate, well-documented royal is Andrew, not Elizabeth II. And I've said to you that Andrew and Epstein, in photos, flight logs, now even a 2011 email where he tells Epstein, we are in this together. So that fallout is real. It's documented with tangible consequences. But by contrast, for Queen Elizabeth II, we have tabloid-level reporting of alleged emails written by a third party, Gelman, about Epstein providing her with financial services. There's no public primary documents backing it up yet. So the hard facts we legally have established and career-destroying Andrew's Epstein connection. But currently sitting in the fog of unverified emails, the Queen, Elizabeth II, being described as a financial client. So we haven't seen anything. Is it a real story? Or is it a tabloid plus geopolitics special being pushed at a time when the monarchy is already under huge strain from Prince Andrew's proven links? But I have said to you repeatedly over the last 3 years, it's all down to the timing, and it's all down to whether it disappears, because some big stories just magically just disappear. So there's an agenda being run. So 1 for yes, 2 for no, 3 for I don't know. 1 for yes, 2 for no, 3 for I don't know. I'm going to ask you a few questions. And I know you're a cynical old tart, same as me, but I'm still asking the questions. As Les Griffiths says, they don't cover up non-stories. I'm with you, Les. That's why I'm doing this story tonight. First question. Do you trust the current media stories suggesting that Queen Elizabeth II may have been a client of Jeffrey Epstein? Yes, no, don't know. Comic Mania, good point. Probably a distraction and trying to sell newspapers. So the question is, do you trust the current media story suggesting Queen Elizabeth II may have been a client of Jeffrey Epstein? Apart from, I think it was possibly Albert Metcalf and Les Griffiths, everybody's saying, no, for fuck's sake, Amalia. So I'll wait till you've Napoleon blown apart. 2, cynical old tart. Because I'm going to ask you a second question. It's just going to be a sequence of a few of them. Andy H says, I don't know, but everybody, and Hannah, Lilybell, and Paul West are saying unsure, don't know. But pretty much the majority are saying no. Okay, second question. Should all remaining Epstein-related documents involving royals, politicians, and billionaires now be published in full, unredacted, completely? 1 for yes, 2 for no, 3 for I don't know. Should all remaining Epstein-related documents involving the royals, politicians, and billionaires now be published in full? Wow. Well, 100% so far. Matthew Whedon, Catwoman Jones, Vix Tex, Lewis, Sandra Blade, everybody. Yeah, I mean, literally everybody is saying, not forgetting the gerbils. That's another story. Pet Shop Boys. So, another question for you. All public figures, says BD Cool. I'm with you. So literally everybody. Transparency, VixTech says 100%. So, third question. This is for royal accountability in general. Given what we already know about Prince Andrew, do you believe the British royal family has told us the whole truth and nothing but the truth about its connections to Epstein? Yes? No? Don't know. Apart from Rich, everybody said no, no, no. Literally everybody. Des Ashton, Robert Norman, Rusty's Roamings, Ian McGee, Nathan Diamond. No, 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 no. Okay. Another question for you. Should Buckingham Palace respond to these new media claims? Yes, no, don't know. Should Buckingham Palace respond to these new media claims? Yes, no, don't know. Somebody just said self-preservation. Was it inhibits the truth? Let me just get back to it. Self-preservation prevents the truth. Thank you, I see you. It's a bit more spread. Karina and the old Bovril, Elliot, Barry Wright are saying no to, Karina, Albert Medcalf from the Royal Hussars, Soul Rebel are all saying yes. Comic Mania, no. VixTech, yes, it's 2025. And my final question to deal with this before I move on. Do you think the timing of this story is suspicious? 1 for yes, 2 for no, 3 for I don't know. It could be a distraction. It could be something else that might be taking the heat off Charles the Weak or Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. Should it be called Andrew Battenberg Windsor? Because he'll mount anything. Elliot, Comic Mania, say yes. Rich is, I don't know. Sandra Blade, yes. So I just love the cynicism in the body of the Kirk tonight. It's wonderful. So let's step back from the royals just a moment. I'm going to ask you a really pointed question. Do you believe there is still a protected class of global elites who can use and abuse people like Epstein did and never face justice? Yes, no, don't know. Do you believe there is still a protected class of global elites who can use and abuse people like Epstein did and never face justice? Interesting. Andy H, Phil the Van, Fatal Racing Driver, the all Bovril, all ones. Yes, everybody is pretty on the cynical scale. 10. VixTech, what a great movie that is, Eyes Wide Shut. Have you seen the world would never let the full movie out. And I watched on one of the streaming services, I've got the DVD of it, and I watched the version on the streaming service, and I thought, they've chopped loads of bits out. And there's loads of Easter eggs in Eyes Wide Shut as well, because, well, the truth is out there. So to round this off, use what is going on. I mean, I believe that the Queen was a client story. It's unverified, tabloid-driven, and geopolitically very convenient. But we can use it as a case study in how Epstein's name is used to smear or to reveal, and how much we still don't know about his networks, and how institutions, monarchy, Department of Justice, media, manage what the public is allowed to see. But as I think it was Les Griffith said a little earlier, they don't suppress non-stories. 77th Brigade, just Google it, you'll find it. They sanitize everything. Oh, you can't say that, Adrian. No, don't be silly. We're the 77th, you're wrong. So thank you for all your votes. Napoleon Bonaparte does make a very, very valid point. Sick of being lied to continually. They don't want it up them, do they? Well, some of them. Hello, Kia. They don't. And they don't want us knowing the truth, but we don't care whether it's the truth or not. We just care when they lie to us. And I'm telling you this, I've seen the picture of Never Hear Kia at the G20, where Ursula von der Leyen is, she's talking to some of her mates. And he's on his Todd. Billy No Mates. The people in power know that he's gone. So why would they want to talk to him? Because he's absolutely bringing nought to the table, said a spokesperson. So thank you for all your votes. English Bottle Cup, why have you not asked any questions about who the Nobel Prize winning scientist that is making the claims? Because I haven't had a chance yet. But a Nobel winning scientist, why would he say that? And that's for the journalists in the mainstream media to do their due diligence. Because the Republicans are circling the monarchy. They want it gone. They want it finished. And was it one of the newspapers yesterday in the Sundays? Starmer seemingly has told Charlie Boy, Charles the Weak, that, he needs to not step down. Well, I can't remember what he said, but I was thinking, that's not very nice. That's socialist. That's Republican. That's get rid of the monarchy. And that's a whole different ball game. I just wanted to stay focused on the narrow cast of why they bring in Queen Elizabeth II's name into something that doesn't need to be brought into. But the Daily Express, knowing that the palace may sue, it's not never complain, never explain. When you've got somebody saying that Queen Elizabeth II was a client of Epstein, and there's all this conjecture, I'm promising you, just watch the mainstream media over the next 2 or 3 days. If it doesn't appear, the story's true. If it does appear and there's retractions or pushback, then it's not. It's a bunch of shite. But I know what I think it is. Let's look at the next 2 or 3 days. That's all. Les Griffiths says the age of kings is over. Oh, I say, ask the Russians. Maybe the Queen wanted untraceable money to pay for Andrew's doings. That's what I said, Andy. We don't know where the money came from to pay off Jeffrey for Andrew. So it might have been Epstein. I mean, I was going to say Fergie's buggered, but that's an unfortunate term of phrase. Did they say what way the money is going? No. But the only role of the monarch is to make money, to keep the monarchy going. It's a bit like upstairs, downstairs, the rich and wealthy. So the first has to look after the seat, the pile. The second one goes into either politics or religion. But the first one has to make sure that the seat, the pile, stays in the family and is maintained. That's the only job they've got, maintained. So Sandra Williams says, but like they say, no smoke without fire. Let's get on to Billy No Mates and Ursula von der Leyen bitch. Because the European leaders are together and they are peddling furiously to try and tell Trump to Foxtrot Oscar, leave Russia alone, you wrong'un. We'll look after Ukraine. Yeah, because that's where the money is. So European leaders are urgently working against President Trump's the Orange Man. He's got a 28-point peace proposal for ending the Russia-Ukraine war. It's kind of, there's a counter document drafted in Johannesburg, proposes alterations and deletions that dilute the American strategic influence. Europe appears caught off guard, and this analysis that I'm going to give you explores why. So Europe's peace plan is pure fan fiction. An unlimited Ukrainian army. Oh, we'll give you loads of money. Give you loads of money. Sniffy, mate. Loads of bunts. Loads of Benjamins. Loads of greenbacks. Moolah. You can have it as long as you send us some back. I mean, look what you did with President Shitty Pants, Brown Trousers, Biden. Nearly 100 million given back to him. Taxpayers' money. So the Europeans want an unlimited Ukrainian army. NATO doors wide open. Foreign troops invited in. You know what that means, don't you? Yes, Starmer told you. Your kids, your grandkids on the ground in the mincer, the meat mincer in Ukraine. That's what the Europeans want. They want full-blown war because Germany, their economy is tanking. Not only tanking, it's never going to come back up. They want sanctions snapped on and off like Christmas lights. And not 1 inch of territory ceded to the Russians. In other words, the exact blueprint that created the war. Arses, now repackaged as the path to end it. Forgive me, I think I'm going a bit mad. Still, not a single EU leader has the courage to say this to Trump's orange fizzog. So the Europeans have finally placed their rival plan on the table, and it reads like a suicide pact masquerading as diplomacy, because they're not diplomats, these idiots. Ursula von der Leyen, bitch, she's a baby machine. This is not what Europe are suggesting, is not a roadmap to peace, but the most dangerous piece of, in my view, political fiction since the Iraq weapons of mass destruction dossier. And we know how that went, don't we, Alistair, mate? It wasn't written to end the war. This is not being written to end any war. And Alistair Campbell, how much did they sex up that document? Because seemingly it was from a kid in the Middle East somewhere, and it was online, and I'd seen the original document before it got anywhere near the Labour Party or the Fabian Society or Alistair Campbell and Tony Blair. But this fan fiction, I believe, has been crafted to reignite it by technocrats who have never seen a trench, never buried a son, yet now presume to redraw a battlefield they've never even fought on. And let me tell you, this plan that Europe, Ursula von der Leyen bitch et al. Are trying to promulgate would destroy what's left of Ukraine. And Starmer yesterday is like, oh yeah, we're after minerals, yeah, we're after mineral independence. What, is that in a bag? On a train? With Macron and Merck? And what it would do is plunge Europe into permanent instability. War, if you want. And you want your kids and your grandkids to go and fight. Maybe you're of an age, fighting age, where you would have to. This would plunge Europe into permanent instability, if not outright war. Ursula von der Leyen, bitch, all but confessed it. No territorial concessions, no limits on Ukraine's army, no neutrality, no restrictions on NATO membership, foreign troops invited in, and automatic sanctions ready to snap back the moment Russia exhales wrongly. And somehow, the EU, which sabotaged every past peace initiative, insists it must be central to peace. Let me tell you, this is not a peace plan. It's a maximalist war doctrine written by bureaucrats who will never bleed from the consequences. The most telling part isn't what's in the plan, it's how they delivered it. Not one European leader dared present it to Trump. They leaked it to the Tory Telegraph. At the time, they were fleeing to Geneva like anxious little interns, hoping to edit the final copy after the boss signs it off. The European leaders want to appear defiant in print, but remain submissive, oh I say, gimp mask anyone, in practice, and that's exactly why Washington cut them out of the real talks, because Washington can see through them. Washington knows what it's about. It's about the greenbacks, the Benjamins. They all want to make millions out of it. War is very good profit. So, we're almost at the end of this. So let's break what I'm saying down. Europe insists Ukraine must be free to expand its army, despite mass mobilization and revolt, conscription, kidnappings, and a collapsing population. They want NATO's door flung wide open, ignoring that this is what triggered the war to begin with. The Europeans want the British, the French, and Polish troops operating openly in Ukraine, daring Moscow to escalate. This is no acknowledgement of battlefield reality, no constitutional neutrality. And have you seen the stories that are trickling into the mainstream media in this country? They're bloody Ruskies. They're in the channel, man. We've got one of their liners. Oh yeah, we sent the Royal Navy to oi Ruskies, get out of our water, you wrong'uns. All that going on. Spy ships, the rations. Oh, I say, are we at war? So in short, the same terms that created the war now repackaged as conditions for peace. They even demand the right to sanction Russia unilaterally, automatically, on political impulse. Putin sitting there going, oi, Ursula, how do we end shite, man? That's not diplomacy. It's legal sabotage disguised as guarantees. The West breaks ceasefires, then blames Russia for retaliating. It's called gaslighting where I'm sitting. So contrast that with the Trump plan. Russia calls it a good foundation, not a solution, not a surrender, a basis, strategic language. Meanwhile, Europe throws a tantrum, spits their dummy out, dressed in treaty clothes, and calls it moral clarity. She's got 7 kids. She ain't got any morals. Well, of an alley cat. Why? Because the Europeans are terrified. If Trump imposes his plan, Europe will be left holding the corpse of Project Ukraine. The debts, the migration, the economic wreckage, the shame, and the guilt of having helped destroy the very country they claim to protect. Talking out of their hairy backside. So that's why Europe is saying mitigate and not no. That's why they leak, not leading with courage. That's why they moralize, not negotiate. Mitigate is the word a slave uses when asking their master to reconsider the terms of obedience. Imagine it. Most a continent reduced to lobbying for softer language in its own obituary. And what of Ukraine? They're not being offered peace. They're being strapped to a corpse and ordered to march. Told to rebuild with men they no longer have. Told they'll be shielded by allies who already condemned them. And now, don't even have the courage to confront the one man actually trying to end the war. This isn't a plan. It's a guarantee of frozen conflict. A remilitarized Ukraine, a remobilized NATO, and permanent confrontation with Russia. No autonomy for Europe, no sovereignty for Ukraine, no peace for anyone. History offered Europe a seat at the table. It chose to be seated on command and only when spoken to. Where are we? So as I was saying during that piece about Ukraine and the Trump 28-point plan and Europe and Ukraine, there was the Royal Navy intercepted a Russian warship and tanker in the Channel. The patrol ship HMS 7 escorted and then intercepted the Russian corvette Stoiky and tanker Yelnya as they transited the English Channel. Now, the MOD has said that Russian naval activity off UK waters is up 30% in 2 years. So there's a bean counter somewhere saying, oh, it's up 30%. How do you work that out? They either aren't or they are. Are we at war with Russia or aren't we? It's really simple. Now, I know you're thinking, hang on a second, Adrian, isn't that days after the Yantar spy ship reportedly shone lasers at RAF pilots off Scotland, which was branded reckless and dangerous? So the question you need to ask yourself is this, if I may be so bold. Are we effectively already in a grey zone war with Russia? Is this a genuine threat or an excuse to expand defence budgets and surveillance? Because you know what the MOD's like. Are we here, man, Kia? We need more bunts, man. We need more money to buy bombs so we can bomb people and build jets and ships and stuff for the military. I want to make you aware of something that is just emerging in the news cycle, last couple of hours. Are you aware of Trump's death penalty talk? And now the American media are talking about Melania quietly re-emerging from what? She had kind of like surgery or something? So what's happening? I know you're going to ask me the first question. Oh, interesting. Terry says, better question would be Poseidon aircraft flying. How do you dazzle the pilot with a laser from the surface? Pilots at Lossy say it's impossible. I am aware. Yeah, it'll depend on the aircraft, because I am aware in aircraft landing at Edinburgh Airport, going out to the North Sea via East Lothian and then coming back in. There was a few times there was kids in Musselburgh trying to shine lasers from the roads and houses in Musselburgh. I know that to be a thing, but I'm sure, Terry, you're correct that it's whatever aircraft is being used, but it can be done. Ashton photographer Des, what's happening in the undersea environment? Not sure, Des, not sure. But there's something emerging in America. Trump has suggested that what he calls seditious behavior should be punishable by death. So you know what's going on here, don't you? All those people that were accusing him of stuff that was wholly untrue, the lawfare and the January 6th riots and the BBC editing. Trump wants what he calls seditious behavior punishable by death. Now, the Democrats are up in arms. They are openly saying they won't be intimidated by those threats. Well, Biden's got a bung up his backside to stop him shitting his pants. But I bet the rest of the Democrats don't have such luxury. So Trump at the same time is on the phone to Never Hear Kia. Downing Street published a readout of their call yesterday. It's on the gov.uk website. But for the past few months, Melania has been mostly absent, which is now a story in itself. An American newspaper ran a piece cataloguing every White House event she's bothered to show up to this year, underlying how rarely she appears. Does she have to? So should we have a yes, no, don't know? 1, 2, 3. Do you feel unnerved by a sitting US president musing about execution for political opponents? I mean, it's Democratic. TP for Joe's bunghole, says BD Cool. Sounds evil to me, says I see you. So do you feel chilled by a sitting US president musing about execution for political opponents? It's kind of 50-50 so far. Elliot says yes. English bottle cap. Steve Barnes and Barry Wright say no. Sandro James, no. Paulie Galtieri, blimey, cynicism, Paulie. I love it though. Should we have that for 2T Ikea? And do you know the other thing, just as a little aside before I continue with more questions for you? Wasn't there a by-election last week that Reform won? Was it just because I was kind of out of the game from Thursday lunchtime until Saturday lunchtime? Was it a local council election, or was it like an MP by-election election? Because there's nothing in the newspapers, nothing whatsoever. I can't find it. Ooh, Tom Harney's too. They were advised officers not to execute unlawful orders. Terry says Trump likes to gob off on Truth Social. Doesn't mean he intends to do anything. He just posts crap for shits and giggles. Well, Melania hasn't been around. I mean, Barron, for that matter, hasn't. So I don't know what's been going on in the background. So is Melania's kind of distance a nothing burger, or a signal that even inside their house there's unease? God, they're just trying to wind him up, and they're just trying to get at him. I'm going to ask you another question. It's Never Hear Kia and Trump. Do you trust Starmer's relationship with Trump? Yes, no, don't know. Do you trust Starmer's relationship with Trump? Yes, no, don't know. Oh, Reg D says 1A. Everybody's saying no. Execution is not a right of any human to carry out. Take a life because you can't isn't good. Because you can isn't good. I think that was I see you. Melania took delivery of official Christmas tree today. Did she? Does she want a fairy on top? Everybody's saying no. Les Griffiths, there's no relationship. What can I say, Les? Hugh Hefner just took blue pills. Everybody's saying no. So thank you for all your votes again. Thank you for being so active tonight in the body of the Kirk. But I want to fit in a couple of things before we finish at 9 tonight. And one of them is at the UN. Now, remember the UN's Agenda 2030. We've been talking about it for months, if not years. And other people are now just catching up with you and I. But at the United Nations, they're saying that the wealth gap is widening. No shit, Sherlock. Do you know how much wealth transfer there was in lockdown in all the countries around the world? It was trillions and trillions and trillions. They estimate about 4 trillion. But the UN is now calling for a new industrial deal. Just remember, the UN Agenda 2030, they want everything in place. You'll own bugger all and be happy, and they want it all in place by 2030. So in Riyadh, it's a UN-linked conference. Ministers from 44 of the world's poorest countries called for a new industrial deal to help them rebuild and industrialize without being left behind. So the example from Sudan, first we need to end the war, then we have to restart the factories. The pitch is stop conflict, then rebuild industry with international backing. So there are countries around the world that are impoverished, that can't get themselves out of the hole that they are in. But you will have politicians in those countries that want a flood of money going into the country and then disappear. In the same way, the United States Agency for International Development funded organizations and countries and people around the world to the tune of trillions, just so that America could get the fingers into sticky pies. So I'm going to leave you with one story. And I want you to, 1 for yes, 2 for no, 3 for I don't know. I'm going to finish with this. So a guy in France, he was digging a swimming pool in his house, and he's found about $800,000 in gold bars and coins buried in plastic bags. So some Frenchman has just gone, we'll have girl, we'll go and we'll dig just here, right next to the house, and we'll have a lovely swimming pool for all of our mates to come swimming. And while they're digging, they find 800 grand in gold bars and coins in plastic bags. But here's the rub, and this is the fantastic thing. The authorities have confirmed that it wasn't stolen, and the previous owner is dead. So the treasure is his. Genuine story. He's dug a swimming pool, found 800 grand buried. Former owner is dead. Authorities saying it's not stolen. So the guy that dug the swimming pool has found 800 grand. I mean, you go out for a dip and come back a millionaire. What? So I'm going to ask you one final question tonight. Ooh, the U Bovril. What can I say? Brinks Matt, says the U Bovril. Oi, 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 oi. When was Brinks Matt? Was that not in the 90s? So it's about 30-year-old. That's a great suggestion, the U Bovril. Rich says, lucky bastard. So I'm going to ask you a question. 1 for yes, 2 for no, 3 for I don't know. If you suddenly found that money, would you tell the state or would you keep your mouth shut? If you suddenly found that money, let's have a look at your character, you're wrong. Would you tell the state or keep your mouth shut? Marley says, oh, how fantastic. Gold will carry hallmark, will be able to determine origin, but the French authorities have said it's not stolen. So they must have done that, Terry. I love hearing good news, says Vixtex. Everybody's going, no, yeah, utter wrong-uns. Legalista says, oh, yeah, I would. So most people will keep their gob shut. Lionel would tell the state. Rusty Roamings, no. Tom Harney's Hadaway and Shite will be down the pub. Give it a BD cool so we can go to gigs, says Sir Andrew James. Gribbo, not a bloody chance. So, and Des Ashton says, what money? I know nothing. So, it's not an and finally, Esther. I've got 2 more things. 1, I've told you about Hungary, Venezuela, Russia, China, North Korea, Iran. The central banks, the last 6 central banks that the Rothschilds don't own. And I've told you, anything coming out about Hungary and Venezuela into the mainstream media is the route down to the Rothschilds owning the central banks in those 2 countries, because Venezuela is oil rich, one of the most wealthy oil rich countries on the planet. They've got masses of oil reserves and wealth. But let me tell you, it's kicking off. So China continues to support Venezuela in safeguarding Venezuela's sovereignty. Why? Well, China, communists, Marxists, socialists, everything is. They don't want the Rothschilds to get the central bank of China and or Venezuela. And according to Xi Jinping, president of China, they are safeguarding Venezuelan sovereignty. And President Xi Jinping has rejected the interference, and I'm directly quoting, the interference of external forces, oh, I bet they are, in the internal affairs of Venezuela. So just keep monitoring it. I've told you that they're going to have to do something, and America might be part of it. China certainly will, if they are safeguarding Venezuela's sovereignty. They want the oil, they want the black gold, and they want the central bank. But the black gold will be just the excuse to get the central bank. And I want to tell you this, because I know I have the best and most intelligent audience on YouTube. You know Robert Reeves on Wednesday? I said to you last night. So who's she going to blame? The blame game. Is she going to blame the Tories, 14 years? Is she going to blame somebody else that we don't know the name of? Or is she going to blame Brexit? Well, let me tell you something. It's a great, great, great old saying from my mate Mike. I'm too old a cat to be fucked by a kitten. Robert Reeves and the blame game. Watch it on Wednesday, man, when she stands up and goes, oh, I'm the first female chancellor. Yeah, and you're shite. So if she blames Brexit, because she's going to blame somebody, I've got a 50 billion black hole that I've got to fill. Yeah, European money. She's going to give the 50 billion to bloody Ursula von der Leyen, bitch. I mean, you know, the woman, you could fit 50 billion in there 10 times over. What am I talking about? You should have been watching last night. So I will tell you categorically that there is no evidence that Brexit has damaged the UK productivity or growth. So I'll give you a quick analysis that shows there is no evidence that Brexit harmed the UK productivity. Trends since 2016 match post-financial crisis norms. Manufacturing outperforms the G7. UK openness remains unchanged and investment stays historically strong. Claims of a Brexit-driven slowdown do not match the data. So the congregation, whilst watching Robert Reeves on Wednesday, shaft the disabled, shaft the pensioners, shaft the middle class, shaft everybody apart from 3 Ukrainian rent boys. Watch who she blames. And when you see who she blames, you know what she's up to. Integration back into Europe. 50 billion to Ursula von der Leyen to fund the war, and your kids are going to go and get blown up in Ukraine. I'm telling you. But it's not in the news. So it can't be true, Adrian. So watch on Wednesday. We've only got barely 48 hours. Comic Mania says, it's her fault and Starmer's fault for giving our money away. I know. Gribbo, I know. Either somebody didn't pay or something was going on, so they just torched his shit. Who am I talking about? I've no idea. I'm delirious. Didn't see my lips move. Oh, Rich says, are you doing a budget special, Adrian? Should I? Wednesday afternoon. Oh, can you imagine this? The swear box would need to be full up. But, well, I'm live Wednesday night. So I don't know whether you want me to do kind of an immediate reaction, whether I'm going to be off my head on Wednesday afternoon, or whether you want me to be a little bit more prescient and cool about things and give you the data. So I might do both. English bottle cap, that is too funny. She should blame her bloody maths teacher. Brilliant. So, Rich, yeah, might do. She should blame her maths teacher. Yes, do a special live during the budget. Oh, go on then. Should I? When she gets up. You can be my eyes and my ears. I'll have her doing the speech and I'll just swear in the background. Can you imagine? Oh, man, you tart. Foxtrot Oscar, how do we end shite, man? But then again, I won't hear what she's saying if I'm just ranting and raving at what she's saying. So Andrew James, 7:15, normal time on Wednesday for the live. 7:15, 7:30 for the important stuff. The parish notes at 7:15. Just saying hello to everyone and getting everybody into the body of the Kirk. Lewis, should we play the Reeves budget bonanza? I mean, the first, I reckon she's going to blame Brexit. Yeah, do a special live. Save us from all the swearing at Robert Reeves. All right, I'll think about it. I've got my charity night tomorrow night. It's the last one of 9 weeks. The Mankind Project, whom I love working with dearly. So tomorrow night, I'm not going to be doing a live. I'm working with my charity, the Mankind Project, which I do for free just to help other men out. If you want to know more about the Mankind Project, just go to, I think it's mankindproject.org. They've got a website. It's fantastic. So I think we'll call it that for the night tonight. Thank you for your likes, your subscription, but most of all, your indulgence. My name's Adrian Allen. Be well, be safe, and whatever you do, emergency Battenberg. It's always good in the bait box, the bait box. And whatever you do, wherever you go, be safe, be well. And remember, this is not a show. This is a mission from the pulpit of truth. And we go again Wednesday night, 7:15, parish notes, just to say hello. 7:30, we get into the proper stuff. So look after yourselves, and I'll see you Wednesday night. Or maybe Wednesday afternoon. Keep your peepers open. I'll chuck something online and tell you if I'm doing a live or not. Oh, boy, she's going to make us bend over. She'll be wearing a trouser suit so we don't see the strap on. See you Wednesday.